They told me for years there was no money in podcasting. Well, they were all wrong.
All right. And with that, we are rocking and we are rolling because this is Talking with Tarashuk. And today is a little bit different. It's another one of those shows where I have no idea what the hell I'm going to talk about, but I do know who I'm talking with, and that is one of my best friends in the entire world. He is the co-founder of the Seedling agency. He is a former colleague and coworker of mine. I am in his goddamn wedding. We just got back from Miami this past weekend on his bachelor party. So many things happened there. The one and only Chris Scali. Chris, how the hell are you, man? It's so good to see you. You look even tanner now that we're back in Jersey.
I know. It's, I tell you, every time I go away to a different state, different country, and I come back to Jersey, I actually turn as dark as this shirt.
Yeah.
It's the Sicilian skin. Even when I go skiing, like even in the negative 10-degree weather, I still get a tan.
It's as long as there's sun. As long as there's sun, you're going to get cooked. But it wasn't just you, dude. It was your whole family. Like, how have you been describing this trip to people, like, at work or at home, like, whatever I'm talking to? I'm just like, picture the Jersey Shore just being implanted in the heart of Miami and bawling out. That's what this trip was like. Because your fucking family, dude, psychopaths in the best way possible.
We're nuts, but the people that I wanted there was only family, and I consider you as family because I've known you for so long, and Greg and Bald Will, and you, it was just a blessing just to have everyone there and us just partying, in that gorgeous pool. I never seen a pool like that in my life.
No,
never. Remember I was doing, I go, guys, crocodile. Remember I was doing
yeah, dude, the goddamn crocodile. I mean, I guess crocodile is appropriate for Florida, but like, in the beach, I don't even know what I would call it, but I'd be in the beach, like on all fours, pretty much in the planking position while the waves come in and out and they just drag you in and out and you just kind of stay in your ground and do what you can do. But it's like, Will, it's the crocodile. For fuck's sake, Chris, the crocodile. Like, that is just Chris Scali comedy right there.
It just had to be done. It literally just had to be done. But overall, that trip and us just partying like all day and then going into the restaurant, I was trying to explain to people, maybe we could tell our listeners, the steakhouse experience.
Oh my dear Lord. Yeah, I don't even know what it was. First of all, it's called Poppy Steakhouse, which... Like, oh, Poppy, like the weirdest name for a steakhouse. Like, we pull up. First off, the doors are too heavy to open by yourself. Like, the bouncers have to open the doors.
They do.
And you walk in, you hear like this club music. I'm like, where are we? What are we
personally
doing
thought
here?
It was just going to be a casual steakhouse. Almost, so you go to Wolfgang's and
we've both been to nice steakhouses in New York City and me in Boston as well. And previously the best steak I ever had. So because I don't know if I ever told you this, but the best steak I ever had was at my mom's 50th birthday party. We went to Abe and Louie's in Boston. And we got a limo service. We picked up a limo from my house, drove into Boston. They took the whole family there. And the steak I ordered was, I believe it was a filet. It was a filet wrapped in bacon with a scallop in the middle.
That's a surf and turf.
Right? Dead ass, dude. It's like you cut into it and it's just a scallop or scallop, depending where you're from. Dead smack in the middle. And up to that point, that was the best meal I've ever had. And I do stick to that was the best steak I've ever had, probably up until the Wagyu from just a few days ago.
Ladies and gentlemen and others, but this was a 55-ounce Japanese A5 Wagyu steak, $1,000 that they took out of a suitcase with rave music.
Yeah, the fucking Godfather theme, dude. Like, that was the thing, because, like, how this worked was the air siren goes off, right? And like all the servers come over. There's like an air horn. They're screaming and all this. I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And then he opened his steak. Everyone's going, woo! woo! And then for us, I was just like, I heard a siren. I was like, oh, who's next? I hear the Godfather theme, like the Godfather theme. And then I see them coming towards us. I'm like, already? That's us? Shit. All right.
And remember, like, I think I was against it. I was even against getting the same. Yeah, me and you.
It was me and you. I want to say Greg was too for a hot minute. Because I thought there was 3, but no, it was just me and you. And I think it come vote time, I think Greg went for it. But yeah, it was just me and you. And goddamn, Chris, I gotta say, I've never been more happy to be wrong in my life.
We were totally wrong, and let alone our waiter gave it even a crazier experience as well.
Yeah, dude, if you ever need to go to waiter school, like, talk to this guy. This guy was like probably in his mid-50s, just amped up. Like when we told him we are gonna do $1,000 steak, a waiter had to hold him back. He was so excited. A waiter dead ass had to hold him back. He's like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. It was just like...
And then John going, let's do it again when the steak came out with the freaking cattle prong.
Well, it was his idea because he saw it going on. He's like, how much is $1,000? He's like, we're doing it. And it's just like, no, we wanted to do a few steaks, like a few porterhouses, like something, the big steak, the T-bone, whatever. And it was like, no, 55-ounce Wagyu, $1,000. Like, it's $100 a pop. I'm like, yeah, with everything else. Like,
with everything, yeah. I think, what was that?
The night before at that Italian place, we spent like $117 each for the whole meal.
Which is great.
Right, this was $100 just for this one meal.
But I think the bill was like over $3,000.
The bill was like $3,300, something like that. Something absolutely ridiculous. But you know what, Chris? Johnny Manziel was across the table from us. So
he was, and I asked him how he liked his steak. He said he liked it.
That's good. What do you get? Do you know?
No, I think he probably got. Knowing him, he probably got a porterhouse. He's a big guy.
He is a big guy, and he's still. I mean, what's he doing now? He's out of football.
He's out of football. I think he's at the.
Why was he out of football? What actually happens?
He just partied too much, and then he played. He was the #1 draft pick for the Cleveland Browns, won the Heisman Trophy, and then when he went to Cleveland, he kind of just partied too much, and unfortunately, they kind of kicked him to the curb, and then other teams tried to pick him up, and it just didn't work out. But he was such an unbelievable quarterback, and I remember watching him play. At Texas A&M, that's where he went, and he beat #1 Alabama at Texas A&M, home of the 12th man. And I never seen a guy throwing video game numbers and video game rushing yards and beat Alabama, and the whole stadium just bullhorned the field.
Didn't Texas A&M just beat Alabama like this past season?
If I'm not mistaken, we would probably have to look it up, but I think they probably A&M. The Aggies came back for a repeat.
Who did they? Because I was at your house when we watched that game, and they all rushed the stadium. They rushed the field.
Yes,
we were watching that game. I think it was Texas A&M. It's like the burgundy colors or dark red colors.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was Texas. Damn, they beat them. They beat them twice. Well, I guess that is what we call an Achilles heel in the sports business.
Oh, that's actually, I'm a big in sports, and that's something that I didn't know. But
well, you're a Bucks fan. So
I am. We're terrible.
I don't know if I might have asked you this before, but it's fun to rehash. No, you're from Jersey.
From Jersey.
I understand why you're not a Jets or Giants fan, but the Bucks, where are the Bucks? How did you love from the Bucks? Where'd that come from?
So this is the whole story about how I kind of fell in love into being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. My cousin Lisa married this gentleman named Brett. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. But he got me into the Bucks because he came over one day when Lisa introduced us to him, and we started talking football. Yeah. And he goes, "Who's your football team?" And I go, "Well, I kind of don't really have one." He goes, "Well, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and here's why you should be one." And he goes, "We play in this pirate ship with a stadium with a pirate ship, and they fire the cannons." And then he showed me all these players like Joey Galloway and Warren Sapp. I go, sold. And ever since then, and let alone he showed me the jerseys, like the old school creamsicle ones with Captain Fear on them. And that really just got me. And I go, and also when you're 10 years old, who doesn't like pirates and the swords and the blood red colors? And
yeah, and that's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point. you drive towards something that's just stupid when you're a kid. Nothing's dumber than grown men with fake teeth and a fake leg fighting up to plunder and gold and parrots and booty.
booty, pirates, booty. And also, I looked up the history of the Buccaneers, not just like the team, but back in the day, and they were quite savages, man.
Dude, go on Netflix, and I forget it's like the Lost Pirate Kingdom or something. It's like it's like a 4-part documentary series. It talks about like the ends, like the rise and pretty much the rise and fall of the pirate empire. It didn't really last that long. And it told the story of like Blackbeard, and it was like right before the American Revolution. So I was watching, I was like, damn, dude, pirates literally led to the American Revolution. If you kind of think about it.
They did. Why? I mean, how?
I mean, not really, but like when the pirates, because they were maybe it was after, I think it was before or after the American Revolution, but pirates pretty much formed this society when like privateers broke off from England after, I think it was the War of whatever, or the French and Indian War. They didn't have any jobs. So they all just broke off and started plundering, and they formed on what's modern day Nassau in the Bahamas. Okay. And they pretty much just formed like Pirates Cove, which is now mini golf. And like they pretty much formed like a democracy. Or a mini republic where, majority rules, they vote, they have leadership, which literally was like the basis for what became modern day America. There's no direct tie, but I made the connection. It was a Willie T original. Where it's like, oh, they pretty much did America just in pirate form.
Well, there's one thing about you. Like every time, like we hang out or we're doing something like this, and we crack open a beer on my couch or your couch. You always have these very interesting facts, and to be quite honest, I learned from them because there's some things that I just don't know. So like, are you like a historian? Like, do you like? I mean, I know. Are you like always been like a history buff and everything?
That's a good question. I mean, I probably butchered that whole pirate thing, so I was going off memory. I didn't write anything down, but I am a fountain of just useless knowledge. I love learning new things. It's kind of my like philosophy of, I always need to be improving. I always need to be doing something. I always need to be better than the next day as I was the previous day. And I travel and find things that I find interesting, which I think is a big reason why I gravitate towards the Joe Rogan podcast so much, because he does the same thing. And a lot of things I learn, a lot of things I tell you, or stuff I pick up, is a lot of just random fun facts that I get from listening to Joe Rogan's guests. And I know that's kind of taboo to say nowadays because, ooh, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know.
But like, no, I mean that seriously. Like, I am just generally interested and curious about so many different things, and it's the random things that stick with me. And it was just a Netflix documentary. Ooh, pirates. I was like, Chris would get a kick out of this. So I think I was waiting for the perfect time to tell you.
Hey, when it did, and to kind of piggyback off of you, I've been obsessed with Carly's mom. Everyone knows that's my fiance. She gave us her Disney Plus subscription.
Oh.
And I've been sinking my teeth into the Drain the Oceans series on Disney Plus. And I have to say, they are spectacular.
What's Drain the Oceans? What is it?
So Drain the Oceans is this they have each episodes, and it's a documentary. And for example, they did Drain the Oceans on the Titanic. And these divers, they went out to the Titanic. I believe like it sank somewhere out in Ireland, and they got these cameras and they put them in the ocean. They gather maybe about a year and a half of data, and then they compile it into CGI. And then they show you what the Titanic looks like without the water. And then they actually go through the crevices of the Titanic, and they go through every nut and bolt of how it sank. And then they go into the parameters of how far the bow is away from the stern. And they even go through each debris field of what's in there. It's It's spectacular.
I gotta watch it. That's crazy. That's because I'm glad you said Titanic. Because me and you have this shared love of the movie Titanic, like no two male best friends should have. Like,
it's the best movie of all time.
It is my favorite movie of all time. And actually, it's me and Jazz making a tradition where we watch it every year on or around my birthday. So that's good. And I told you this story, right? So last year, it was our first birthdays together. And I was like, okay, romantic moment. I want to watch Titanic. And because she also loves the movie. And it got to the point where, Jack pretty much corners Rose in the gym. He's like, they have you trapped, Rose. You're a dumbass. What are you doing, essentially? And he's just like, aggressive move, Jack. He's like, you're a spoiled little brat even. It's like, fuck, Jack, you'll shoot your shot, I guess. And he's all moping up on the bow, and like Rose is at dinner and her mom's talking shit about her while she's right there. Her mom's like, Rose chose lavender for the wedding gown. It's because she knew I wouldn't like it. What a bitch. And Rose is saying there like, bitch, I'm right here. Hello. And then she's like, all right, fuck this. I'm going with a pour on bow. So like, it's that whole scene where like, like, I'm flying. And they're literally the most romantic scene in the whole movie. And like, Jazz just goes, that fourth smokestack was only there for show, right? It doesn't actually do anything. And I was like, Jazz, out of all the fucking times you could have done this and let me know that the fourth smokestack was there just for show, you picked this scene.
It could have been it could have been during bagels. It could have been maybe during coffee. But she just
it could have been during the movie when Jack's going, I'm the king of the world, and he does the panning back shot of the whole ship. Or literally any time James Cameron has a wide shot of the whole ship. It happens 50 times before the most romantic scene of the movie.
Yes, I agree. I mean, she could have done it, especially when. By the way, Rose is a savage bitch. By the way, she's a villain.
She's the worst. She's the worst. She really is.
We'll get to that in a minute. But with the smokestack, the smokestack. Jazz could have mentioned it, as an old Rose goes, and I could still smell the fresh paint. But Titanic was a sea of dreams, and then it goes into the present moment of the Titanic.
Yep.
We could quote that whole damn movie for all I care.
Yeah, we can. It's been 84 years. Just tell us anything at all. Do you want to hear the story or not, Mr. Lovett? For fuck's sake, let the old lady talk.
Meanwhile, did Mr. Lovett know she had the heart of the ocean?
Dude, did you ever see the alternate ending?
No.
You've never seen the after we're done here, I'm gonna send you a link to YouTube of the alternate ending to Titanic. Spoiler: the ship doesn't sink. No, I'm just kidding. But it's when Rose is on the back of the boat, back of the Keldysh, and she has the diamonds. It's when the granddaughter is like hitting on Brock, and he's just like, 6 years singing nothing but Titanic. And I never got it. They see Rose like standing on the ledge. They think she's gonna jump off, so they go down there and like try and stop her. And she's just like, she shows him the necklace, and the fat guy comes down. He's like, "You've had this the whole time." then she pretty much convinces Brock to let it go, and she throws it over. And he just goes, the fat guy just goes, "Gee, that really sucks, lady," and he storms off. And then she goes to bed, she dies or goes to sleep, and it's the whole end of the movie. But like, that was an alternate ending, and I want you to see it, and you'll come back and let me know what you think. But I'm so glad they didn't do it, because like the whole heart of the ocean is such a red herring to me, where it's like the movie starts out as it's about the diamonds, but it's not at all about the diamonds.
What was it about? Do you think it's about love?
It's about love. It's Romeo and Juliet on a boat. That's what the story is. But like Brock isn't the main character. Brock Lovett is just a treasure hunter who happened to meet like 104-year-old Rose. She's really old, goddamn liar.
Yeah, and that's exactly an old goddamn savage.
So at the end, Chris, let me ask you: Did Rose die in her bed, or is she just dreaming?
Oh, she died in her sleep.
She died in her sleep? Yeah, I think so too.
Because remember when Jack and her, they were on the... Oh, no, I think it was maybe before they were in the water, but she was like, oh, no, it was when Jack was going to die. And She goes, "You're going to be an old lady. You're going to die in your bed. You're going to have like babies and whatever." And she wound up living like that ravenous life.
There was some poetic justice. Well, if you want another fun fact on Titanic, the composer James Horner, he died in a plane accident like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. I think he was like a pilot. He was also a pilot, and it was like a small passenger airplane. Like crashed in a field, and him and a few other people died.
Oh my God. See, when I hear when people like die in a plane crash, or like a celebrity, or like not even a celebrity, but just like anyone, that's the worst way to go.
I'm not gonna lie, every time, like even on our trip before I stepped on the plane, I go, well, this might be it. And I step right on. Step right on.
Isn't it kind of crazy how we're trusting to be 33,000 feet in the air? And me and you were talking about Captain Sully even before we got on the plane.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 and all that other stuff.
I don't know. I think air travel is so safe. I'm not saying because TSA does a good job, but I think it's the act of flying through the air where the planes are so technologically advanced now. Like the pilots is there to keep. It's like a Tesla. It's just there to keep the hand on the steering wheel. But I can't imagine like going down on an airplane that without it being sexual.
I believe those oxygen tanks they give you is for because it's full oxygen.
Yeah, it's just oxygen, so you can breathe while you plunge to your death.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of almost to comatose you a little bit before you die, from what I've heard.
Maybe. I mean, I hope I never find out.
I hope I never find out neither. But if I was ever on a plane that was like hijacked, or I think of those people like on Flight 92 and how they fought for their lives, I would do the same fucking thing.
Oh, you died in 93?
Yeah.
Dude, I went down the rabbit hole recently. I was listening to Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon had Rogan on his podcast, which is a nice twist because Rogan doesn't do podcasts that often. And Tim Dillon mentioned this 9/11, like this 5-hour 9/11 documentary called 9/11, like the new Pearl Harbor or something like that.
Okay.
Where this dude from Italy, I don't know why this Italian guy went so balls deep, but this guy from Italy just went in on not that 9/11 like didn't happen, but how the U.S. government's telling of 9/11 is that there's so many plot holes. So he's not one of those people who denies planes hit the building, but he raises valid questions that the government just can't answer or hasn't answered. He wants like a new investigation into it. And let me tell you, dude, there's some stuff in that you can find a full 5 hours on YouTube that is just absolutely wild. Like, for example, they had like phone calls from cell phones from people in one of the hijacked planes where if they're that high in the air because they're being tracked by air comm controllers, it's impossible to make those calls. Like, we were up in the air 30,000 feet, and I had no service. And it's 2022. No. This is like 20 years ago. Even a Nokia brick phone can't do that shit. So it's just like, well, they could have used the airphone, but no, there's no record of the airphone. So it's just like, well, what, how? How did this actually happen? And it's just like, there's so many questions of 9/11 that just haven't been answered. And it's just like, if you actually look into it, it's absolutely wild. It's terrifying.
Really?
It's terrifying.
So even those people that were like saying goodbyes?
Like, those people are dead. Don't get me wrong. Like, those people are 100% dead.
Oh, they're dead. But I'm saying, but like those phone calls that they were making, is that kind of like what he was just talking about?
He wasn't like drawing any. I don't think he was necessarily drawing conclusions. He was just asking questions. Like, okay, like, how do you explain this? Like, could it be this or could it be that? He's not one of those conspiracy theorists saying this is how it is. It's for a fact. But he's like, listen, we need these questions here. Like when Tower 7 collapsed, like before Tower 7 collapsed, there was eyewitness reports and even news footage of explosions going off around the building before Tower 7 collapsed. And the fact that it looks like a controlled demolition, it's just like what the government told us, this doesn't add up. And he's not saying this is definitely how it happened, but he's saying like, well, how do you answer these questions that we clearly have that you're refusing to answer?
Agreed. Yeah, it's true.
How old were you during 9/11?
I was in second grade.
Second grade? No, you had to be older than I was in first grade. You had to be older. You're older than me.
Yeah, maybe I was like, I was in third grade.
Because no, you're what, 31?
32.
32, and I just turned 27. So you are 5 years older than me. So you would have been in like 5th grade.
Oh my God. It seems like, wait, Jesus.
Well, when were you born? 80?
89.
89? So you would have been like 12.
Yeah. So I was older.
God damn it, Chris. You're 8 years old in 2nd grade.
You know why? Because it's just, I don't know. I mean, I can't believe, I do remember the day very vividly though.
I do. So tell me what it was like for you.
So in a nutshell, I remember we heard the intercoms go off, and then my social studies teacher, Mr. Pringle, turns on. His name was Mr. Pringle, our social studies teacher, full on Republican. I love him. and that's kind of, and then, but anyway, he turned on the TV and he goes like, guys, like, this is, you need to go into terrorism and whatnot and everything. And I remember seeing one of the planes hit into the North Tower, and I go, oh my God. I go, this is insane. And I remember seeing the World Trade Centers going to the Yankee game.
Yeah.
And so then they started evacuating all the kids, like the students, including myself. And then we weren't allowed to go home unless the parents were there.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was at work, and then because I go to ring the doorbell and no one answers. And I go, okay. And in my mind, okay, my dad's at work. Well, where's my mom? It's usually like my mom's home. And then I winded up going to my neighbor's house. That's where I got dropped off. And then later I found out my mom got hit by a car on 9/11 because she was rushing to get home because she saw it on the TV. And if my mom didn't have a helmet on, she would have been dead. And then because my dad was at the hospital, and that's where my parents were.
Wow. That's wild. I was in 1st grade. I remember very little. I'll never forget Nakia's story. You should ask.
Oh, yeah.
Nakia ever tell you the story about her 9/11 story?
No.
So her mom.
It was amazing.
Her mom. Shout out to Nakia, by the way. I love that one. I'm trying to get her on the show as soon as possible.
I miss her. She gave me. We got to talk about, because she gave me an opportunity that one.
Me too. Well, we'll talk about Nakia, because me and Nakia go way back. But let me tell the story first. So Nakia.
Yeah.
Nakia is Chris's and I's old boss from the Carbon Network. My first job out of college. And it was the anniversary of 9/11. So it's 9/11, the first 9/11 when I was working. So 9/11, 2017. And we're sitting in a conference room. And she tells me that her mom worked in, I think, the South Tower. It was the second one that got hit. So, and she was like up on the floors where the second plane would have hit. That's where she worked, or a few floors above or below. So they evacuated, and when they got to the base floor, they told them to go back up. And Nakia's mom was just like, no, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And she just left. She got the hell out of there. And then shortly after the second plane hit, and shortly after that, they came down. And then once the towers collapsed, because the cell tower was on top, so Nakia couldn't get a hold of her. This woman walked from the Lower East Side, or wherever the financial district where the towers are, to Harlem. She walked like 200 blocks.
Oh my God.
Because like when the tower collapsed, she was running for her life. And she got covered in all the dust. So Nakia finally got a hold of her. She was covered in dust. And just like she couldn't get to a payphone until she got home in Harlem. Could you imagine walking from the America's Fuck You Tower to 110th Street in Harlem?
That is, and let alone we didn't have iPhones back then.
No one can get a hold of her. Even if you did, you couldn't get service because the cell tower was destroyed.
No, nothing. No iPhones, no Instagram. I don't even, was Facebook even? Facebook wasn't even.
No,
nothing.
Facebook was 2004, a few years later.
2004.
Nothing. What a time to be alive. And 9/11 is what changed everything.
Yep, 9/11 was what changed everything.
We could go into a whole thing of government and politics. I want to keep talking about Nakia.
Yes.
So did you know Nakia and I interviewed together?
No, tell me.
Okay, so I want to hear your interview story. I want to know who interviewed you too. But when I interviewed, first off, it was a phone interview with Neil.
Oh my God.
And after that, he shot me an email like with a group of us saying like, I was BCC'd. It's like, we want to bring you in for like an in-person interview. Like, what are your availability? Can you come in like Monday? It's like, yeah, I'll be in Monday. I'll skip class, of course. So it was like a Monday evening, and then he emails us again. He's like, hey pal, change of plans. Like, we want to bring all the interview candidates in, like to meet the whole group, and we'll pull you aside one by one to do your one-on-one interviews. I was like, all right, cool. We'll do it on Tuesday. Better. Don't just skip class. So I go in. I'm in my nice suit. Like, I wrote up. I have to see if I can find this. I'll send it to you. I wrote up, like with my resume, like a 2-page character cover letter saying like, why I want to work here, why I deserve to work here, my qualifications, like what I bring to the table, like literally like headings in like bullet points, and like paragraph lists of like who I am. I totally forgot I did this. So I wrote all that shit out, and I bought extra copies for whoever wanted one. I bought like 7 or 10 copies of it.
I love it.
And I had it in like a leather like portfolio folders, so it was like all nice and official. I go in, and they have us all in that main boardroom. You know that main boardroom behind the front desk?
Yes.
So we're all in. Well, first off, he brings us in there to say like, okay. No, he brings all the candidates over to the side one, the one in the corner, by the elephant statue, whatever Karam had in there.
Yeah.
So in that corner office, and there's a guy from Philly there. There's another guy. I'm talking to them, and then there's Nakia. Like, the other guys are relatively my age, maybe a few years older. And there's Nakia, who at the time was like her late 30s. I'm just like, what is this woman doing here? Right? And it's like really shy. She's like the only one I didn't talk to that whole night. And Neil comes in. He goes, okay, gang. We're gonna bring you all into the other room, and we're just gonna introduce you to everybody. I was like, okay, cool. I go in. Karam's there, Tamara's there, Lucy's there, Tim's there, like David's there, like the whole like Timeless and Karma were there.
Was Angela there?
No, Angela didn't start working there yet.
Okay.
And Neil has us go around like introduce yourself, fun fact, etc. And he goes, oh yeah, by the way, pal, like by the way, gang, behind you there's wine, there's beer, help yourself. I'm just like, all right. I'm like one of the first cans to get up. I'm like, all right, okay. I had a Stella, popped it open, had a few sips, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is great. I was so comfortable, and pretty much Neil was just like, all right, everyone just kind of get up, just meet and greet, just talk to everybody. I talked to everybody. I talked to literally everybody. I'm gonna tell the story so many different times when I speak with Tamara, Nakia, and hopefully Neil if I can get him. Just about what this experience was like. But I talked to fucking everybody. Cynthia, I asked Neil, I was like, Neil, like, when are we gonna have our one-on-one interview? He's like, well, don't worry, we'll do it later. He's like, don't worry about it, just keep mingling. And I remember this one guy from Philly, he left early. He had to like go catch a train or something. I was like, this guy's not getting a job.
Oh my God.
Early. So like after that, like Neil's like, all right, guys, we're gonna get in the other room. And then like before he said that, I went up to Karam. And I was like, oh, so you're like the owner, right? And he's like, I'm Will Tarashuk. I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself. And then he pulled us all into the other room. It's like me, Nakia, this other guy. I think this one other guy. And he goes, all right, guys, like, congratulations. That was your interview. And I was just like, the fuck? Excuse the fuck out of me, what? So, and he goes, any questions? Me, I got a question. Now I was just like, he was like, all right, everyone, I just want to ask you, thing privately, whatever. Everyone else leaves the room, and I go to Neil. I'm like, Neil, like, talking to other people, like, my one thing, I was like, first off, I had this whole thing set up. I gave him like my resume and like my little color thing I wrote. So I had this whole presentation. I was ready to go. He's just like, yeah, I was like, just show it to everyone who wants it. So I gave him all the copies. He's like, yeah, thanks, Will. And I go, my one concern is that, this guy from Philly, he had production experience. Like, all these other people have experience. My main thing I want to make clear was, like, listen, I don't want to be the fact that I'm fresh out of college to hurt me. Like, I don't want that to be something that goes against me, because it's like, I don't think that's fair, essentially. And Neil goes, well, Will,
I can't get anything guaranteed, but I think after talking to everybody, you got nothing to worry about.
Now it's just like,
Okay.
can you have that in writing, please? All right, I go home, and that Friday I get the job offer. But, out of everyone there, Nakia was the only person I essentially didn't talk to because I knew they had 2 job openings. And I remember my first day, I walk in, I see Nakia there. I'm like, oh, you're the one they hired. Congratulations. Like, she started a few weeks before me. And I sat down, and she goes, I'm so glad you're here. Like, in that Nakia voice, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad you're here.
It's just like, you got so much work to take off my hands. And then we were just off to the races. Nakia was my first boss, and hands down, one of the most influential and important people in my entire life, Nakia Booth.
I would have to agree.
Dude, imagine that. That's your interview process. You would have shit yourself.
In what way?
If you were interviewed that way, I don't think you would have. I mean, you would have talked to everybody and done yourself, but like, if you found out after the fact that was the interview process, you would have been pacing up and down, back and forth. You would have been pacing on a train. Like, you had to back to South Jersey. You wouldn't have slept on a train. You would have slept for 3 nights straight. You would have been just losing your minds.
I would have been losing my mind. You are 100% because you know how I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I shared an office with you. So tell me what your interview process, because yours was more normal. You had how many rounds did you have?
I only had 2 interviews at Karma. So prior to Karma and how I got even the interview, this is some vodka, by the way.
Love it. Oh, it was Hunter Mulford.
Hunter Mulford. I met Hunter Mulford at Fox News when we were interviewing for Fox News for the junior reporter program. And we made it to the last rounds together, and we did like it was a week internship, and then they would have selected 5 of us, and it would have been one of the locations was Las Vegas, Georgia. I think there was one down in Florida, and so on and so forth. And I didn't get the job, but this one guy did, who I used to work at Casper, Wyoming, and his name was what's his name? Ray Bogan. I'll never forget him. And I go, Ray Bogan, I can't get rid of you. And he winded up getting it, and then I still kept in touch with Hunter. And after that, I was bartending, and I was working on the grounds crew at like 4 a.m. And I was raking my what's it called, the divots on the golf course at 4:30, 5 a.m. And as the day goes on, I hear my phone go off, and Hunter goes, hey Chris, there's this job opening for a booking producer at this company called Karma. Are you interested? And I go, yeah, sure. So after my shift, I went home, showered up, and started just researching the company. I go, wow, I never really heard of this before, but let's do it. So I wound up interviewing with Hunter. And then right after I interviewed with Hunter, she goes, hey, Chris, you wind up coming in for an interview to meet me and Nakia. And I go, yeah, absolutely. And they go, can you come in tomorrow? And I go, I got a bartending shift. Can I come in the next day? She goes, yeah, sure, no problem. So I'm all excited for my job interview, and, I'm bartending, and I'm all giddy and everything. So, I'm making drinks for everyone, shoot the shit. And then I winded up slitting my hand open on glass.
Oh my God.
And I didn't have health insurance. So what happened was, and I go to my bartender, my boss, and I go, do you think I need stitches? He goes, Chris, you're bleeding pretty bad. I go, I have a job interview tomorrow.
See, that's what I mean. You're freaking out now just thinking about it.
And he goes, okay. He goes, don't worry. Everything's fine. He goes, it happened on premises, so you're going to get workers' comp. And there was a hand surgeon at the bar that night. So he winded up
here.
So there it was nuts. So he winded up getting me through to the ER, and they sewed me up. And he goes, listen, I understand you don't have health insurance, so when it's time to heal, I'll take out your stitches. And I go, oh, thank God. I go, you are a gem. I bought him a bottle of wine when I went to his house. great hand surgeon. So, how much that would have cost without insurance, just taking stitches out of your hand?
Dude, I don't even want to think about it. Don't even tell me, because
I don't even want to.
This system is disgusting.
It's just insane. So I wind up going to the interview, and I, didn't really sleep at all, in the AR. And I winded up taking the express train to the city, and I have the, the bandage around my hand, and I go in and in my suit, and I sit down, and Nakia looks at my hand and goes, "Rough night." And I go, "Listen, I was bartending last night. That's what I've been doing. And also I work at the grounds crew on the golf course. And I winded up cutting my hand the night before the interview." And she goes, "Oh my God." And I go, "Yeah." And you could just tell that she just felt generally just so bad, but also like she kind of see that I was just gung ho and ready to go. So we wound up talking, and she says, "Oh wow, I saw you were in Wyoming and you were over here and that." And Hunter told me you guys were at Fox News together for a little bit. And I go, "Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. And I saw this opportunity come up, and I really just want you to give me this chance." I go, "I'm a really hard worker. And one of the things that I go, I absolutely won't let you down." And it wasn't really an interview. It was more just like a casual, just conversation, just about like me, her, and just, how we could just make an impact together. And then I think it was maybe 3 days later, I wound up getting a job offer. And I remember I was sitting outside in the early morning with my coffee, and I was smoking a cigarette, and it was so hot. And right before my grounds crew shift, I was like, well, no, was it before? No, because the ground crew's in the morning. I think I was going I got back from the grounds crew, and I was smoking a bogue, and I wound up seeing my phone go off, and it said, "Karma, thank you." And I go, "Oh no, I didn't get the job." And then I read the email, and I wound up getting the job. And she asked me if I could start tomorrow. And I go, "I got to get my stitches taken out. How about Monday?" She goes, "Done."
And that Monday, we'll get into that Monday. But I actually still have my email.
I still have mine too.
My Karma email. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see what. I hope mine was just Karma. Thank you. No, mine was Karma Media. Congratulations. So that was much better. It says, "Will, thank you for your enthusiasm and patience through this process. We are very excited to extend you an offer to work with Karma Media. I have a legal team work this up formally. The offer will be based with approximately 10% performance incentives. This will also include our full standards benefits package and 3 weeks paid time off." And I was just like, "Yeah, Neil." I was like, I'm never getting rid of this. Email. Thing is though,
I got mine. Wait, can I read you mine?
Yes, please.
Mine was, oh my God, mine was a day after 9/11, September 12th, 2017 at 1:08 p.m.
Literally happens a day after that story I just told that Nakia told me. The next day we hired you. That's hilarious.
The next day you hired me. She goes, "Hey, good afternoon, Chris. Thank you for your enthusiasm and patience through this process. We're very excited to extend you the offer to work at Karma, having our legal team work up a formal contract and benefits package." Yep.
etc. And the rest, they say, is history. Now, what was the event? Because we were at the Grand Hyatt near Grand Central.
Yeah, my first day was Concordia.
Okay, it was Concordia.
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
I forget which event was which, because there was one event, I think it was a Nexus event, where I got sick and ended up in the hospital. And then it was Concordia where I met you. So I always get them confused. So it was Concordia. Now, how Concordia worked was you guys were downstairs in like the lobby, where you were you looked really stressed, I remember. And then I was upstairs in the 10th floor conference room or whatever. And I remember coming down, and you're just sitting there like this, head down in your laptop, like in a chair, like your hair done, your little blue suit. And I think Nilo and Nikia goes, "Hey, this is Chris." Like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" I was just super busy. And I was just like, I was all frazzled too. But like, there you were. And I was like, this is the fucking guy. This guy right here. And
so I was expecting like an onboarding, and they go,
"Yeah, dude, they threw you right." What was that like? Your first day, you're at a conference. So walk me through it.
Dude, So, I prior to the conference on Friday, I was only in there for like a few hours, and I met Hunter, and she got me set up with Slack, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I'll Slack you." I go, "Yeah." I go, "Excuse me, you'll slap me?" She goes, "No, Slack."
Gonna slap you, daddy.
Like, oh my God, literally, right? So, and she goes, "Okay, so we'll meet at Concordia at this time." And I go, "Concordia?" I go, "Sounds good to me." Little did I know, I got thrown to the wolves, and they literally wrote me, and they go, "Okay, Chris, Tamara goes, all right, we got to get this meeting booked. We got this meeting booked. We got to make a spreadsheet." And I go, "What?" And this was like 3 days, and I was staying at my old ex-girlfriend's house, Steph's, in Hoboken. And I remember I go home, just back to her apartment, shot. Like, I had sweat rings around my suit collar.
Mm-hmm.
And a beer never tasted so good. And then I just went to bed. But it was just, I didn't eat. I don't even remember like drinking a sip of water.
No, I don't remember eating that whole time. It really was. I don't even remember what we were doing. I just remember it was so busy, which was not standard because working at Karma was very. I loved every second. Well,
I did too.
Mostly every second I had there. If I could go back and do it again, I would do all of it again. But it was after that. It was after Concordia when I had to bring the equipment back because back then my job was mainly as just like a high level PA and it's like an associate producer, the title producer, and van driver. So I had to bring all the stuff back to either Adorama or the storage unit if we had that at the time. And Nikia goes, "Bring Chris with you." No, I was like, it's a good idea. I'll break him in, see what he's like. And then the rest is history.
We go into the van, and I remember, I know we both just pull out bows, and we just put on Blink-182, and we start just shooting the shit. And I remember, like, our relationship kind of just picked up so fast. I remember us doing a serendipitous moment of going to the Ranger game. Because remember, we would always do wind down Fridays at Karma.
Yep.
And I would always like stay up late stay late there. So we wanted just to meet people and wow. And then I met Carly. Remember? And then that's where I met my fiance, everyone. I actually met her at Karma. So
do you want to tell that story? How you and Carly met? Now, did you guys have any interactions? I know the story. I know the full story. I was there.
You do know the full story.
It really sparks and kicks off at the holiday party. But did you guys have any interaction, exchange numbers, anything like that before the holiday party?
Well, I met her. She came into the production room and she goes, "Are you Chris?" And I go, "No, my name is Dan." Just
No, you didn't.
And to fuck with her because she goes, "Oh, I have a guest for Karma, and it's my cousin because Carly's cousin is brilliant, and she's on like the Forbes 30 Under 30." And then later, I think she slacked me. She goes like, "Hey, where are you?" I go, "I'm in the production room." And then I go, "No, I'm Chris. I'm just busting your chops." And then we started like talking and everything, and then every time I kind of needed something, maybe for graphics, like for like a pitch deck for business development, I would ask it from her. And then, of course, we met at the holiday party. I won't get into the nitty gritty there, but I was actually supposed to stay at my brother's apartment. And he goes, "No, Chris, you're going to be too drunk when you come over. Mariah's going to be pissed at you." That was his old roommate. And then first, like Macy goes, if I'm this one other coworker, Macy goes, "Oh, you could stay with me." I go, "Where do you live?" She goes, "I live in Brooklyn." I go, "Absolutely not."
Good call. I hate Brooklyn.
I hate Brooklyn. It's a love-hate. And then Carly goes, "Oh, I live in Hoboken." I go, "Great. We could go get Old Bagel in the morning, and then when we get off the path, we'll go to Bazille's. We'll get a slice of pizza." And then literally after that night, we started hanging out. We had like a lot in common. And then literally, we never really had a first date, me and her. We just hung out. Like I lived down the shore, and then I was literally at her house like every other weekend. And we would do all these gallivant trips just around the city and just bar hop and try these different restaurants. And And then literally 6 months later, she asked me to move in. So I moved in May.
Dude, I'll never forget. First, I'll never forget a few things. Like the Manhattan Mini Storage. We were just bringing stuff back. We were talking about Carly and like how you want to go continue going forward. And I was like, whatever. Congratulations. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes her happy. Whatever. But I'll never forget. Was sitting in the office and you just go, "Hey, Will," and you just hold up a key. And I go, "Get the fuck out of here." She gave you your own key.
She gave me a key. She gave me with a key and in hand, and I still have it. It's on my keychain. It says "Lucky Fish" on it. She knew I like the lucky fish and like in the outdoors and shit. So
you guys really are a cute couple. Like I remember telling you early on, like, dude, this chick is obsessed with you. Like, not in a bad way. Like, this chick just is like already deeply in love with you. And it's just like it took you a little bit. It did take you a little bit because you just got over Steph. I remember you. I walk into the office and because you already got there before me. You walk in the office. It's just like some sad song, and like Newfound Glory sad music is playing. And I go, "Uh-oh, Chris, what happened?" You're just like, "I'm so sad."
I was emo. I go,
I'm heartbroken.
I got my girlfriend broke up with me. And I remember my dad goes, "Chris, just sack the fuck up already."
Yeah. I was just like, dude, like, listen, it happens. Fucking get over it already. Do your job. Shut up and do your job.
She's fucking, and also that bitch was crazy anyway. God forgive me. But
well, that's why she's an ex.
But other than that,
when did you know you wanted to marry Carly?
I knew I wanted to marry Carly. That's actually a good question. Well, I kind of just, we were dating because I proposed in June of
2021. Yep.
Of 2021. It feels like 8 years ago, but it was like a few months ago. I'll probably say I'll probably say when we went to my cousin's wedding in Martha's Vineyard, because we were pretty serious then, and then but mostly like when COVID happened. Because when COVID happened, at first I was in denial with COVID, and we both lost our jobs during COVID. And that was by far, that could test anyone's relationship.
Yeah.
We were both jobless. We had no money coming in, and we were just, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I remember we come home that day and we sit on my coffee table over there and we pull out a bottle of tequila and we just start having a few drinks. And there was a bag of David sunflower seeds on the table. And she goes, and we both look at each other and we go, "Hey, maybe this is the time we should launch Seedling, our company." And, we always had the entrepreneur spirit, and our parents have always, they always supported us working for ourselves. And we go, "Hey, what do we got to lose?" And that's when I knew that, we're both in it together, when shit hits the fan. And that I'll never, she will never forget that moment as long as we live. And, it was very challenging. I learned a lot from her, and I love how talented she is. And, I hope she learned things from me. But, I think that's a two tests of any relationship, because, when I've seen in the past when shit hits the fan in relationships, either the man or woman, they just kind of all right, I'm done. See ya. A relationship is not peaches and cream, and neither is a marriage. I saw something the other day. Oh my God, what was it? It was pretty much describing you waking up every day and, you have to make money and work hard, but that's what a marriage is. You gotta wake up every day and you gotta work, and you gotta make sure that everyone's happy. You're happy, your spouse is happy, and you have to support one another. And she's always supported me no matter what. And that's kind of for that rambled answer, but that's the main reason.
That's a great word to describe you, Chris. Supportive. Because even speaking from personal experience, whenever I tell you are one of the best hype men, Just not only because like no, what not only like you're doing shots, you're making a Mr. Ismay, you're doing this, you're doing that, but like
Mr. Ismay.
it's just like if I'm feeling down, if I just need to be like if I need an ego boost, if I'm just like whatever, it's like no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm telling you I'm doing, you're always positive, you're always supportive. It's always just you're doing great, you're killing it, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. You're just it's always this positivity, and I don't know how you do it, but there are a few people in this world who see things in me in particular that I just don't see, but I know are there. Like you're one of them, Jared's one of them, my buddy Manny is one of them, and obviously my parents. But like that means a lot. That it just I don't know how to explain it, but it's just the fact that you're always there and you always are supportive and you always know just how to hype me up and just make me feel better. It really is a testament to who you are as a person and who you are as a friend.
Oh man, thank you for that. I'm really flattered. Well, I look at you as family, and we've been through a hell of a ride too.
Yeah.
I since 2017, we saw each other's growing pains.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a total smooth ride. I remember like during COVID, and you go, don't worry, Chris, it's gonna work out. It's going to work out. And I think like, I've always looked at you as, as another brother to me, man. So, I think that's what made I think that's one of the reasons why you're in my wedding and why I wanted you to come to my bachelor party. And, I see you're very talented. I mean, look what you're doing. You're doing very, very big things. You're an entrepreneur, we feed off each other. And, that's what friends are for. I mean, I remember I had friends in the past that, it was very unfortunate how they weren't your hype man. They kind of, they kind of fed off of, like sometimes they were jealous of your happiness, some other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I notice a lot of people are very jealous of people who work hard. Or like who are like always like, or I think people are personally threatened by work ethic.
Dude, I've been told that a lot because I've been told that people. Jared told me this. He's like, dude, people are intimidated by you. I'm like, who? Who? Like, I'm not an intimidating person. 'Cause I think of intimidation. I think like personally, like a big, even a big presence. Like someone walks, like Johnny Manziel. He's got a big presence. Like he was intimidating. Not because he's physically humongous, but he's a presence. Like I don't view myself that way, but they broke it down. He was like, no, you got all these things going on. Like when you talk about podcasting, you're so confident, like this, that, and the other. And I go, I guess I can see that as intimidating, but it's like, I've never thought of myself as that kind of intimidating presence.
No, you're not, I wouldn't really put it that way. I mean, it's just, you know what you want. You're executing on it, and other people like to really tend to go back and forth, or and also you're taking risks. That's very aggressive.
Yeah. The work ethic, definitely. I've been like, damn, my work ethic really is that good. Not pat myself on the back.
I'll pat you on the back there too, brother. I mean, it's important. Also, hey. I have days where I could be a little bit down, but as Carly knows, but as I always say, you gotta pack up the bootstraps a little bit, and you gotta be like, okay, I gotta get back on the saddle here.
Sometimes I do have the mentality of just like, dude, just deal with it. Like just nothing you can do about it. You just gotta deal with it. Like, my mom was asking me the other day because I get my anxiety from her, like how anxious I can be, and I get it from her, and she's just like because I've come off my medicine in the past year or so, like completely off. I'm completely off my medicine.
Oh, that's great.
And she's like, "How do you cope?" And I go, "I don't know, to be honest. Well, it helps that one, my life is very stable. My anxiety really peaked in high school and early college. My life was unstable." Like physically, mentally, emotionally, personally. But now, I got friends I love hanging out with. I got a girlfriend I'm obsessed with. I got a job I love. I got a side business I'm not struggling with, but I'm still loving. I got all my passions. Like, I live on solid ground. So it's easier to get off of my anxieties when I am having on solid ground. But when it does happen, I kind of channel it towards my work. Like, after this podcast is done, like, this has a deadline. It's getting, we're recording this on February 24th, but it's getting released on March, I think, 21st, give or take. So, like, you know, I know what I have to do before that. I got to edit all the clips and make sure the upload is scheduled and sent over and scheduled for social posts. So, like, that stresses me out. But I use it to make sure I get it done. Because sometimes it's like, you know, someone gives me a job or like a task to do at work. It's just like, all right, let me just get this out of the way. Let me just get it done now. Like, I don't wait around for stuff.
Neither do I. Usually when someone gives me a task, I'm like, okay.
It's like, I channel my energy, but it's like, well, doesn't that make you anxious? Doesn't that stress you? I'm like, yeah, but stressing out isn't going to make it get done any better. Sometimes you just got to power through, don't complain, and just do it.
You just
got to do it.
Remember what my cousin Jake said? I live my life through fear. Most the other thing
He's like, I live my life in fear. I was like, whoa, that's not healthy.
That's what gets me up every day. He goes, I don't eat coffee. I live my life in fucking fear. I go like, oh my God. Oh my God. Jake, I love him.
Dude, your family's a riot. Your family is an absolute riot because you got your brothers who not only look like you, but Dom in particular acts a lot like you.
He does.
Little more of a fuckboy. He's got a little more of that fuckboy energy than you do. Maybe you aged out of it, but because he's the middle child, right, Dom?
Yeah, he's the middle child.
How old is he?
He's 29, 28.
Oh, he's older than me? Okay.
I think, yeah, I always forget because him and Anthony are just always so damn close.
Yeah.
So
then there's Anthony, who's just the wild man.
Anthony's a wild man.
He did a great job playing that party, though.
He did.
Playing it so well.
He did. I love my brothers. You know, they're great. You know, we had a great growing up together. Us two. You know, we've been through a lot. So
what was growing up like for you? Because you like a very Italian family.
Yeah, very, very Italian family. That's for sure. Well, we grew up down the shore in Monmouth County, and all of my mom and my dad's sides were all in Brooklyn, so we would go there a lot. And then of course to Long Island. So and then of course, you know, Sunday dinners were anywhere between 12 and 1 o'clock. And my mom
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Yep. And my mom would be, the kitchen's closed. Everything will be cleaned up. She goes, if you're hungry, go in the fridge. And like, I remember like also like we were like younger, like we never ate out ever. My mom like always cooked.
Really?
Yes, it was nuts. And then I never really saw my dad really when I was a kid because he was always on call. So I remember like sometimes like he would be eating and then his pager would go off and he would have to run to the emergency room, and sometimes he'll stay in the hospital for like 3 nights at a time. So like I never really saw him when I was really younger. So it was just like me, my mom, and my brothers. But when I did and then as I got older, my dad's hours kind of got a little bit better. But when I was younger, we didn't really get to see him that much. But growing up, it was a lot of fun. And then we lived in this 100-year-old farmhouse, which was like really cool. And I remember like seeing ghosts in there. I swore I saw ghosts in that house. It was so haunted. It was like we lived in the farmhouse, and then there was this other barn, and I remember like seeing a picture of the family that lived in that house.
Oh God.
And it was so creepy, and it was like so run down. We still have the house now. My grandparents used to live there, and they were right off the boat from Sicily. But I remember like when we were younger, I don't know why, I don't know whose idea this was, but we got rocks and we just broke all the windows on the farm rocks. And my mom goes like, what the fuck are you doing? And like wound up like freaking out. And my dad takes us all to his room and goes like, how much money do you have in your piggy bank? How much money do you have in yours? And little Omer, like I was maybe 5 and my brothers were like, I don't know. I was more than 5, but it was so long ago, but you know, we were young, but you know, we were ruthless, but good kids.
I'm sure. I'm sure that the three Scali brothers were not at all hard to raise in any way, shape, and form.
Always running around. We would go down to the beach club. We belonged to a beach club for 10 years. And then I remember like my mom like taking us like like we all go down like really early in the morning, and like I would be in the front and my brothers would be in the back, and she would play like these like 80s songs. Like what were they? Like Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
Celine Dion. She died. I won't forget somebody. Whitney. Fucking Whitney. Oh my God, amazing. Yeah, it was good times. I loved growing up. I loved growing up in that time period. Now it's a disaster. Everyone's so damn sensitive, but oh well.
What are you gonna do? When are you going to another concert?
Well, we do. We gotta find one to go to that's not gonna cost $1 million like the one that you sent me,
dude.
And
the When We Were Young tour.
That's crazy. That one is fucking nuts.
But literally everyone you want to ever see is playing at that tour in Vegas.
It's like a festival, right?
Yeah, it's like a festival.
See, okay, that's where I draw the line. I don't think I could ever do a festival. It's just like you're out, you're sweaty, your balls probably smell.
You couldn't do a Warped Tour?
I could do a Warped Tour,
that's
but this sounds like camping.
I'm picturing it's like a Warped Tour.
Yeah.
How did you get into pop punk? That kind of emo music. I'm trying to think how I got into it. And
it's like I probably should. I would think I call myself. This chick named Brianna, just Italian chick, and she was like gothic and one of those, and she got me.
Sounds hot.
So hot. She got me into Fall Out Boy.
Oh, okay.
And she showed me like the first album I was obsessed with is called Take This to Your Grave. And the song was Dead on Arrival. And I go, holy shit, this is awesome. And then Now 4, I had Blink-182, All the Small Things. It was track, because All the Small Things, how I remember, I'll never forget this. It was track number 18. I had it on repeat. And that's how I got into pop punk, and I got into like emo, and I have like my guitars and everything. It's freaking nuts.
Do you remember the first album you ever bought?
The first album I ever bought was Blink-182, the Mark Tom and Travis show Strikes Back.
So that's one of their original ones.
One of the original ones. And I remember I never heard so many dirty words in a CD.
I think mine, now I remember, because it's 5th grade, 2005, is when I really started getting into music, my own music. It was Green Day, American Idiot. You're a big Green Day fan. I do like Green Day. I mean, it's the first time I ever bought, like, 2005, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Holiday, American Idiot, and like Jesus Suburbia were huge hits. From there, I started watching MTV, even though my mom didn't want me to. My mom did not want me watching music videos.
Why?
I don't know. So I'd wait until she left for work before school, and I'd put on MTV and start watching music videos. And
that was the prime time. You get up at like 6:30, 7 a.m. and you're watching music videos, having your breakfast, and you go catch the bus.
Yeah. She didn't know. I don't know. She didn't like me watching MTV. So it was Green Day, the Gorillaz, because Feel Good Inc. was huge.
Yeah.
And dude, I still love the Gorillaz to this day. They're on Melancholy Hill is one of the best songs ever made.
I never heard of that song. All I heard is their like original, like that famous one.
Yeah, Feel Good Inc.
Yeah, Feel Good Inc. That's the only
good. Feel good. Nickelback. I was a fan of Nickelback in my youth.
Photograph,
dude. It was on all the time on MTV for music videos. So I like Nickelback.
Photograph.
Every time it makes me laugh. Never man is a wise man.
Nickelback is good. I mean, I don't understand why
they get hate for no reason. All right,
They
get hate because it's fashionably cool to hate Nickelback on the internet.
I know, for no good reason. I mean,
they're the pineapple on pizza of bands.
They are the pineapple pizza bands. You know what? And every time they put out content, music, it's still the same. They didn't lose their touch. What about like, and also back then you got Stained, Three Doors Down, 3 Days Grace, a lot of threes.
Dude, High School Me. Okay, so High School Me, I had this playlist because I loved 3 Days Grace. Like, loved 3 Days Grace. I loved Linkin Park.
Oh yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah, Chester. But Linkin Park was my favorite bands. But then I also loved Eminem and Drake.
Yes.
So I put a playlist together of those 4 artists in one playlist.
How was it?
Because it was just all the music I listened to in high school. It was magnificent. I called it 3 days of Eminem and Drake's Park. That's what I called the playlist.
That's good, man.
How can I mix all these bands together? And it was 3 days of Eminem and Drake's Park, and it was just like all of their music, all in one place. I might make that playlist again on Spotify and throw it up there, public if anyone wants to listen to it.
I do like your music.
Dude, my music's weird. I listen to way too much music.
Mine is just the same shit. I just like doing like the pop punk stuff. You know, a lot of the acoustic. I do have a little bit of hip hop here and there, you know, like when I run and whatnot. Actually, I do got, speaking of running, I have to get my shit together. I shit the bed so bad.
It's a recovery week this week. You can start again next week.
I know I should. Well, I have the New York City half marathon coming up in March 20th. Did I tell you I qualified for that in November?
How do you qualify for marathons?
So for this, I submitted you have to submit a time, and you have to do like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what's the word, like when it's
like an evaluation?
You know, like a certified, like I would call it certified race, like one that's like.
Oh, okay. It's like a qualifier per se.
Yes. So I did the Philadelphia half marathon, and then when you do a marathon, you have to submit your times, and then you can either go in by submitting your times or doing it through like a raffle. So I did one of those, and I was like, fuck it. I didn't think I'm not going to get in. I'm not really fast enough, and I wound up getting in. So I have that, and this will be my third half marathon. I'm not going to lie, I shit the bed on training hard, but I should bounce back pretty soon. I'm going to go running this weekend, so I do have to do a long run.
How'd you guys get in the run club? Because I was relatively new. Was it Greg? Yeah. Was it Greg? Was it cousin Greg?
It was cousin Greg and Sarah.
And Sarah.
And Sarah.
Run club.
They got me into run club. Like, oh, Chris. Oh, and Carly. Like,
I gotta get Greg on this podcast. That would be something else.
You gotta get Greg on this podcast.
We can do me, you, and Greg.
Yes.
I can do up to 3 guests. It's gonna be like me, you, Greg, and Nap.
Yes, let's do it. He actually just called me, so I gotta call him back. But then we winded up my first half marathon. We were over here for drinks, and we signed up for the Atlantic City half marathon hammered. And then the next day we go, looks like we gotta train for a marathon. So honestly, it's a lot of fun. And by the way, when you cross the finish line, I can't describe the feeling. But
I can only imagine. It's probably such a high.
It is such a high, but also the entire race, you have people cheering you on.
Yeah.
And you have all of the timestamps, and you're just jamming out to music. But at mile 10, that's what health feels like. And then you go like, fuck, I got 3.5 miles more to go. And then, but you're hustling, you're like sucking your energy gels, and then you're literally just sweating bullets. And when you see the finish line, and then you press on that timestamp, and then they call your name, it's just I scream on the top of my lungs. I kind of feel like I won the Super Bowl.
I've seen the videos. I remember I think it was a Philly marathon. You just had the mustache.
The Atlantic City half marathon.
Oh, is it AC marathon? Dude, I remember one day you came into work. I walked in the office, and it was just you with that mustache. And we went into the green room, or like the white psych room, and you took a picture of you holding the slate.
Yes.
Remember that? Dude,
I don't know.
I don't know what you were thinking. I told you to get rid of it immediately. I don't even remember why you did the mustache, but it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I had to try it. I absolutely had no excuse not to.
I did it during COVID. I saw a picture of me with just a mustache the other day, and I was like, wow, I'm never doing that again. I like this look. It's the full underneath, and like you can kind of see the mustache.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. You look hot as fuck.
Like my mustache hair is lighter than my beard hair. It's really annoying.
No, yeah, let me see. Yeah. No, you could just like probably like.
Let me cut over to me. Oh, see if we can see that shit. Oh,
you can probably like blend it in a little.
Let me see if hang on. Let me see if I can. This is gonna be great for the video. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see. This is no, that's my title. All right, that's Mick. Are you ready? Let's see if I can do this. Oh, here we go. Right, see that? Right there. Look at that mustache. Look how cute that is. But say it's a different color. And then like, let me zoom out a little bit. And then up here, you got the gray streak.
The silver fox. I call that the silver fox.
The silver fox. Do you remember George Lois? The silver fox?
I do, Joe Lois. He's a savage.
Do I love I can just do that while I'm recording a podcast? I can just zoom in on my video.
That was literally the most savage mood I've seen, sir.
Oh, dude, it's just the fun of podcasting. This is what I like to do. It's just have fun. So, literally, the point of this podcast, Chris, you might have been wondering why I gathered you here today. Someone always asks me, like, what is a podcast? What do I talk about? What do I do? I'm just gonna show them this podcast. Like, look, Chris is one of my best friends. This is what we did for a podcast for like a little over an hour. But talking about an hour and we're talking about 75 American minutes right now. It's just like, dude. This is what a podcast is. We didn't prep any of this. We just sat down and started talking. Like that's as easy as it is.
I think honestly that's just how it should be. I mean, like, I could talk to you for another like hour if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But
when's your podcast coming, Chris?
I know I gotta see if I could bring that back, man. We got so much crap going on.
I know, you got a lot of work, Seedling agency. So before we wrap it up, plug at Seedling Agency. What it exactly is you guys do if someone wants to work with you? That whole shebang.
Yeah, sure. So if someone wants to work with us, so our whole mission statement is that we want to provide a 6-figure design for a fraction of the cost. And we work in all various industries. Just for example, infrastructure, health and wellness, the CPG space, you name it, we do it. We focus on branding, logos, UX, UI, websites, pitch decks. We've been helping a lot of companies with that recently, social media. And how our business model works is our clients buy design hours and they get to allocate those design hours for any project they want. And for any hours that they don't use, it rolls over to the next month. And and that's kind of what we've been doing. And, versus the big box agencies, they tend to charge you an arm and a leg for little things. And also we have a network of people that could help us out if need be, and it's not a charge to the client too. So that's
what you gotta do it first. You gotta undercut at least at first. It's easy to sell if you're cheaper.
It is.
No, I mean you. Well, first off, you as a booking producer, you'd be like, Will, I got him. I was like, who? Him. I got him. The big name. I don't remember who it was, but like, I got him. You're just like, how? You're like, I just worked the magic. you're just like, oh, I called, what was that name? Was it Emily from like the freight elevator?
Oh yeah. What's her name? We actually just spoke about this.
I know, but I was just like,
Rachel.
It's like, because that building, that freight elevator was a bitch. But you just go, I was called Rachel. You just have this way of making these connections with people where it's just absolutely absurd. So that's great for the entrepreneur spirit because you're good at talking to people, getting them in the door. Carly does all the designs, and her designs are phenomenal. She did a few of my designs. I think she did
a handful.
She did one of my, I think she did my Kings of the Rings one. She did one of my old ones. One I have on my hat. She did that one. She did a few others for me. I can't remember. She did my American Minutes one. You guys did the American Minutes. RIP to that podcast, but
that was a good podcast. I love that podcast.
Dude, I did too. I'm gonna bring Nash on this podcast. We're gonna pretty much give a post more on what happened, why we stopped doing it, and then talk to Nash. So that's coming up soon. But
good. Yeah, man.
Wild, man. We've been through a lot. You're getting married soon.
I am.
I can't wait for the wedding.
I wonder. You know what? Before we go, maybe let's just wrap up with the food menu here.
Let's do it. I've been hearing this food menu for 8 months, so let's go.
Dominic. Here it is. Wait. See, I don't even know my dad's. I'm just going to do menu. Is this it? Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is the menu. The appetizer and salad. So we're going to do a Caesar salad with romaine lettuce and imported Parmesan with seasoned croutons.
Oh.
Or the Grand Cafe chopped salad with seasoned greens with tomato, carrots, asparagus, hard palm, raspberry vinaigrette, and then a wild mushroom ravioli with a truffle brandy cream sauce. The entree, New York Angus sirloin with a red wine demi-glaze, sauteed bronzini with sun-dried tomato and Thai basil beurre, oven roasted free-range tap chicken plum sauce, and then dessert, chocolate strawberry torte, New York style cheesecake, and then coffee and tea.
My God, I think I'm gonna go with the steak. I think I'm gonna have to do the steak.
Wait, Will, I'm not done. I'm not done.
What do you mean you're not done? You went through main course and dessert. What the fuck else is there?
But there's going to be stuff passed around. So also we're going to be doing
the pre thing appetizers, like little hot dogs.
Even better, vegetable spring rolls, scallop wraps and bacon, Frank's puff pastries, tomato zucchini topped with pesto, Japanese breaded chicken with a honey mustard, and then cold desserts, brie cheese and pecan bread, jumbo shrimp cocktail, smoked salmon canapé, fresh tomato basil bruschetta, and then Roquefort cheese on Belgian endive with balsamic vinaigrette.
All right. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
That's the spread.
All right, Chris, I'll have to bring you back because there's plenty more stories for us to tell. You know, you are the reason I moved to Hoboken. Thank God I love it here.
It's amazing.
You are the reason why I stayed in Jersey. You are the reason I'm going to continue to stay in Jersey. And I know that, you know, even after you're married, eventually you're going to move out of Hoboken. Eventually I'm going to move out of Hoboken. But unlike some friends from college or friends from previous life, we just lose touch. I know it's not going to be us. We're going to stay in touch forever. We're going to travel to see each other. Our kids are going to play together. And,
they are.
If we have a boy and a girl, they're probably going to get married themselves.
That would be freaking amazing.
They will be literal family.
We'll
be in-laws. Ew, gross. You know what? I hope that doesn't happen. It sounds disgusting.
Yeah,
but
I mean, can you imagine us being in-laws together? I mean, it would be kind of crazy.
We'd be arguing, because that's what in-laws do. But Chris, a twist I have in this podcast, the final question always goes to the guest. Is there anything you've ever wanted to ask me before we wrap it up?
Yes. Okay.
You can always plead the fifth if you got nothing.
No, wait. I could always wanted to ask you. Oh, no, we spoke about that in the bathroom room. Okay. If I would have to say, if money didn't matter at all, if money didn't matter, starting tomorrow, money didn't matter, what would you do?
Oh, that's easy. Well, because this is actually a life goal of mine when money's not going to matter. So I want to retire. And then after, like, my kids are grown and out of the house, and, like, after my parents die, I want to move to New Zealand and just be a hobbit.
Okay.
I want to live in the Shire and, like, live in the Hobbit hole. I want to be so rich where I buy the Shire and, like, keep it open as it is, but I just live on the premises. Like, I want to move to New Zealand and just live a life of this pure luxury where money doesn't matter and just live in Middle Earth. That literally legitimately is my, like, you know, Gary Vee wants to buy the jets.
Yes,
I want to buy the Shire.
Okay, all right.
I want to go live in New Zealand, like on a goat farm or something, and just explore the country and go, this was filmed here, this was filmed here. You know, tour through the Shire. I'd take a job as being a hobbit. Like, yeah, that sounds amazing. So if money didn't matter, that's what I would do. And I plan on doing that, like, after my life in the U.S. is done.
I like that, man. I think that's pretty badass, and I'll take it. I'll take it. That's good. That's good, man. All right. Chris, hopefully you can take me with you.
Yeah, you know it. Chris, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
I love having you on. We'll be back next time we'll go in studio. We'll go up to Montclair. We'll have a few drinks. We'll do it in person. Me, us run it back and do it all over again. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been another rendition, episode, series, edition, whatever the fuck you want to call it, discussion of Talking with Tarashuk. I am the Tarashuk, Will Tarashuk. It's T's and Thomas, Arashuk. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, make sure to reach out to me at will@apspodcast.com. Actually, fun fact, the very first guest of this podcast, Phil Riccobono, was brought to me from Chris. Chris introduced me to that guest. So, Chris, if you have any other people you want to have me on this podcast, please introduce me, because they have been phenomenal guests. I see you shaking your finger, so please. But anyone else out there in the universe, because I know you're going to share this across your wide social networks. It's probably going to be the highest downloaded episode ever, forever. Email me at will@apspodcast.com. That's WILL@apspodcast.com. And we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. It'll be a little more structured, because I don't actually know you. But, just send me your website, podcast, any information you come up with yourself. I come up with the questions, and then we kind of go from there. If you make me go, ooh, congratulations, I want you on the show. But if you make me go, ugh, don't even talk to me. You scum. Dirty. Gross. But I'm Will Tarashuk, guys. Chris Scali. We'll be back. I'll be back talking to who knows what. I don't know. We'll find out, but I'll see you there, because this is Talking with Tarashuk, and I'm just going to keep on talking until I hit stop recording.